Welcome to Beyond 3D, a space where we explore new perspectives about consciousness, emotions, neuroscience, energy, healing, and the new paradigms transforming the way we live, work, heal, and create our reality. I am Flavia Sierra, creator of Quantum Neurointegration Mindfulness, and your guide on this journey beyond all ways of thinking and into a more conscious, connected, and empowered way of living. Because the world is changing, and many times the answer we are searching for cannot be found from the same level of awareness where the problem was created. So together, let's explore what exists beyond fear, beyond limitation, and beyond the old 3D paradigms. This is Beyond 3D. Welcome back to this space. Today, I want to talk about something many people have probably heard before, but that is not always explained clearly. What does it really mean to live in 3D consciousness? And what is this thing we call 5D consciousness? Understanding this can help us make sense of many of the things happening in the world today, and also understand why so many ways of living, working, relating, and making decisions that once worked for us no longer feel the same. We see it in everyday life, we see it in relationships, we see it in work, we see it in organizations, and we also see it in the big systems that shaped the way we live for a very long time. The medical system, the education system, the political system, the economic system, and even the legal system. Many of them have stopped working, and many people doesn't even have noticed it. It is that they were designed for a different stage of humanity. And today we are entering a different stage. We can also see this very clearly when we look at different generations. Older generations grew up in a model based on hard work, stability, obedience to clear structures, and the idea that there was one correct path to follow, and just one truth. But younger generations, Generation X was a transition, but millennials, Generation Z, and even children today are showing a different way of seeing life. They question more, they search for purpose, they need alignment, they do not respond the same way to traditional authority. Everything has changed. And many times they show us that the structures that once worked no longer respond the same way to the consciousness of today. This does not mean that they are wrong. It means something is changing. That is why many people feel that something deep is moving inside them, even if they do not always know how to explain it. And sometimes this is creating a lot of conflicts between parents and children because they literally see the world different. And when we cannot explain what is changing, confusion often appears and conflicts appear. Uncertainty, exhaustion, frustration, or even the feeling of doing everything right and still feeling that something does not fully fit anymore and that things are not working as we want. Some people feel they lost clarity. Others feel they lost motivation. Others feel that what once gave meaning to their life no longer feels the same. And sometimes we have that sensation of sadness. And many times we see this as a personal problem, when in reality, we are living through a collective shift of consciousness. That is what is really happening. But nobody talks about it, of consciousness and how this is going on. That's not a regular or daily conversations. That is also why many of the old paradigms we learned no longer fully explain life. Paradigms about work, about success, about health, about education, about relationships, about the way we make decisions. And because of that, it is important today to open ourselves to new ways of understanding life. You don't have to, but I lovely invite you to do that, just to listen, to explore new things, to sense if that works for you. Ways that help us better understand what we are living through and participate more consciously in the reality we are creating. To understand this, we need to look at something bigger. We need to talk about different eras. For a very long time, humanity lived under the influence of what was known as the Pisces era. I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but it is important for you just to open your heart and your mind and listen to the facts, because you can clearly see the facts in life. This era was a stage marked by structure, obedience, hierarchy, external authority, sacrifice, and the idea that the answers existed outside of us. Thanks to that energy, because that's an energy matter, civilization was built. But today, we are entering a new stage, a new era, an era where feminine energy begins to rise more strongly. The era before was regulated by masculine energy, and masculine and energy feminine have nothing to do with sexuality. It has to do of the energy that we feel. This feminine energy is the energy of intuition, connection, collaboration, purpose, and love as an organizing intelligence of life. And this shift is deeply connected to the movement from 3D consciousness into 5D consciousness. 3D consciousness is the way most of us were taught to see reality. It is a consciousness based on survival. All the structures are designed according to that masculine energy. But now, that's why everything feels that doesn't work anymore. The 3D consciousness is a way, or how we were taught, is that we have to move on constant effort, on control, on comparison, and on the idea that reality happens outside of us. It is the consciousness that taught us that if we work harder, we achieve more. That if we control more, we feel safer. That if we push ourselves more, we are worth more. And yes, it worked, but it also created exhaustion. Then it comes the transition, what is called the 4D consciousness. This is the moment when we begin to question what once seemed normal. And it's not something that happens to every human being at the same time. It's a process, it's a transition. There's people that will be living in the 3D consciousness for the rest of their lives. And that's okay. There's nothing better or worse or good or bad. It's just the facts. The 4D consciousness is when we begin asking ourselves what our experiences may be trying to show us. That probably some things happen for a reason. It is when we stop reacting automatically and start observing. It is the bridge. And then it comes the 5D consciousness. And 5D consciousness is not other thing than a different way of seeing reality. A same reality is looked by different glasses. A way where we understand that the mind, emotions, body, and energy all work together in creating our experience. A way where we understand that clarity changes more results than control. A way where we stop reacting and we start creating. And when we begin to see life from this perspective, something very important starts to become visible to some of us. We have many more abilities than we were taught. The ability to understand life with greater clarity, the ability to reorganize our emotions, the ability to make more aligned decisions, the ability to relate to others with deeper understanding. the ability to listen to our body in a different way, and also the natural ability of the body to heal and reorganize itself when we change the way we live, think, feel, and decide. Many times we were not educated to understand that the body does not respond only to external treatments. It also responds to our perception, our emotions, our thoughts, and our inner alignment. And then we move the biology of the body. I hope this brief but deep information helps you make sense of many of the things you are probably seeing today in your life, in your relationships, in your work, and also in the world around you. For some of us, it's very evident. For some others, it's not. It's just life as always. And everything is okay. Because when we understand that we are living through a collective shift in consciousness, many experiences that once felt confusing begin to make more sense. And that's my intention with this episode. And something very important starts to happen. We stop feeling that we are losing stability and begin to understand that we are entering a new way of seeing and creating reality. In our next episode, this is going to be way clearer to you. We are going to go much deeper into this. We are going to explore more clearly the characteristics of 3D consciousness, 4D consciousness, and 5D consciousness in everyday life. How they show up in the way we think, decide, work, relate to others, and also in the way we respond to our experiences and to our healing processes. Because when we learn to recognize from which level of consciousness we are interpreting reality, we also begin to discover how to move into states that are more aligned, more clear, and more conscious. And that is exactly what this space is about. Exploring together new perspectives that work as a natural bridge between 3D consciousness and 5D consciousness to help make life easier and more enjoyable. See you in our next episode. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Take a moment today to reflect on what resonated with you, and maybe ask yourself, what would change in my life if I started seeing reality from a different level of consciousness? I am Flavia Sierra, and this is Beyond 3D. Until next time.